Alright, so today I will be teaching you how to do the journal entry to both establish and replenish a petty cash fund. For this problem, let's assume that Locke's company established a $200 petty cash fund on October 2nd, 2024. The fund is replenished at the end of each month. At the end of October 2024, the fund contained $37 in cash and the following receipts: office supplies $76, advertising $48, postage $20, and miscellaneous at $19. Your job is to prepare the necessary journal entries to establish the petty cash fund on October 2nd and to replenish the fund on October 31st. Now, I would set up your journal like how I have mine set up. You have your journal entry number, you have the date, the general journal, the debit, and then the credit. For this problem, there's two parts and therefore two journal entries. For the first journal entry that establishes the petty cash fund on October 2nd, the first account is simply petty cash. The fund is given $200, so we can debit the petty cash fund for $200. Pretty simple, right? The second account is cash, and we must credit this account for $200 because $200 is being moved from the cash account to the petty cash account. For the second journal entry to replenish the cash fund from $37 back to $200, we first have to debit all the expense accounts associated with the receipts at the end of October. The order of these accounts does not really matter, but I will be following the order I have them in up top. So put the office supplies expense account as the first account and then debit that for $76. Then put the advertising expense account as the next account and debit it for $48. Then put the postage expense account and debit that one for $20. And lastly, put the miscellaneous expense account and debit that one for $19. Now add all these debts up to find the amount cash needs to be credited to replenish the fund. In this case, summing all of our expense accounts comes out to a credit of $163 to the cash account to replenish the fund. Alrighty, now that we have done that problem, I'm going to give you another one and let you do it on your own before walking it through. For this problem, let's assume that Key Company established a $500 petty cash fund on November 2nd, 2025. The fund is replenished at the end of each month. At the end of November 2025, the fund contained $86 in cash and the following receipts: office supplies, $156, advertising, $112, postage, $82, and miscellaneous, $64. Your job is again to prepare the necessary journal entries to establish the petty cash fund on November 2nd and to replenish the fund on November 30th. From here, I would pause the video and attempt to do the journal entries like we did in the first problem, and then unpausing it and seeing how I do it, and if yours matches up, then you're good to go. Alrighty, now that you have attempted to complete the problem, let's walk through it. You should have first debited the petty cash account for $500 and credited the cash account for $500 to establish the petty cash fund. Then for the second journal entry, you should have first debited the office supplies expense account for $156, debited the advertising expense account for $112, debited the postage expense account for $82, and finally debited the miscellaneous expense account for $64. Then you should have summed all of these expense account debits to find the amount needed to be credited to the cash account. So if you use the sum function, it comes out to $414 that needs to be credited to the cash account to replenish the petty cash fund. Congratulations, you now know how to establish and replenish the petty cash fund. If you ever have trouble with this concept, feel free to use this video as a guide. Thank you all for watching and have a wonderful day.